Jumping right into this one, I started out by gluing up some leg blanks for the kitchen island.
Alright, I gotta cut up all my rough material for the skirts that'll go around the shelves. And I'm again just using this fur that I have. This will all be painted, so I'm not too concerned about some of these knot holes and some of the other things. I'm gonna be able to fill these and stabilize them, so I'm not too worried about that. And this is as dry can be, so I'm gonna cut this down with the jigsaw into more manageable pieces.
This fur was also used to make up the side supports that join the two side legs together. I'll try and add as many animations as I can, just so you can get the idea of what I'm doing here throughout the process. Now this old growth fur has a bit of a story. It was actually milled within about 100 kilometers of where my mom lives, and it was actually material that my dad brought me before he passed away. So it's pretty neat that I get to make this island for my mom and have it go into her kitchen. Back over to my leg blanks, I cut them to rough length and then jointed them on the joiner. I was getting a lot of chips spitting out the top of the joiner, so when I took off the cover, I saw exactly what the culprit was. Now the goal was to get legs that were about 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. But unfortunately, my material only yielded a leg that was about 3.5 inches by 3 inches. Now if you do buy plans for this project, you can technically use dimensional lumber and you'll be able to get that full 3x3 leg. I marked and cut out all of my pieces for the cross supports for the sides and then cut those over at the miter saw. This material was also used for the side skirts of the shelves.
One design restraint that I have with this is just the fact that I need to make it flat pack. So I'm kind of building this in phases. I'm going to build my two sides, then I'm going to build my middle shelves. I'm going to make them so they can attach to each other, and then you can just drop the top on and everything kind of, well, flat packs. So to make my life that much easier, I made a story stick, which just lets me line up on my board where all my domino marks need to be. So now I can cut my dominoes.
The reason that this had to be flat packed is because it was being moved to my mom's house in a very uncomfortable place.
That's criminal. That kid is back on the escalator again.
Before assembling all my parts, I did put an 1/8 inch round over and everything and sanded all my pieces up to about 180 grit. All the frame pieces are getting painted white, so I was just more concerned about getting them smooth as opposed to finish sanded. With my leg assemblies drying, I could start milling up the tabletop for the island.
Now that I have all my boards milled up, they are, well, at rough length. I usually like to leave them a little bit long just in case I end up with any snipe. A couple tips for avoiding snipe: don't try and take off too much. Have another board to chase it, and just watch what you're doing as you're lifting and pulling the boards in and out of the planer. But I have my boards kind of roughed out. Total length I'm looking for is about 30 inches by 55. So I do need to joint these and then get them down to about 6 inches each. And I laid them out on the table, and I kind of like the orientation they're already in. So I'm gonna run with this and we'll see how it goes.
Back over at the joiner, I got one edge flat and then switched out to a ripping blade over on my table saw. Now some of these boards had quite the curve, which you can see here as I'm ripping them on the table saw.
All right, everything's milled down, looks pretty good. I am gonna add dominoes just for alignment. So I've already marked for those. I like to number them just so when I'm spinning boards and flipping things around, they end up back where I want them to go.
Here's a little trick I learned about applying glue. Clamp all your pieces together vertically, and then when you're spreading glue, you can do them all in one shot, as opposed to trying to roll glue over each individual piece. Also, make sure that you do a bit of a dry run, so you have all your clamps, tools, whatever you need to do the glue up readily at hand. And of course, make sure you get a satisfying shot of scraping the glue squeeze out. Alright, my legs were in clamps, my tabletop was in clamps, so I was ready to start milling up all the material for the slats for the bottom shelves. It was also great timing to get a package from MIRKA. Not only was there a lot of sanding ahead, but also the shipping box gave me a great spot to have all my pieces land instead of on the floor. With all my pieces cut to length, I was able to add a round over at the router table. With the shelving slats milled up and set aside, I started working on the frames for the lower two shelves. Now the frames have an inner support added on both sides that allow me to have a spot to attach my slats to. A majority of the strength will actually come from the slats, so I just brad nailed and glued these pieces together.
All right, I have a bunch of scrap plywood, walnut plywood that is, that I've been sitting on for a long time. So I thought it'd be a really cool feature to make the drawer boxes and just the frame for the actual drawers out of walnut plywood.
Now I did need to cut dados in my drawer box frame, which at this angle does look like a pallet. So I added a sacrificial fence to my miter gauge, so I wouldn't have to worry about any blowout on my dados. The drawer box frame requires 6 sets of dados, 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top. And to hide the fact that this was plywood, I did edge band the pieces that face the bottom. Hey, if this is your first time visiting my channel, I'd love to see you hit that subscribe button. It helps out so much. As well, if this is the kind of video that you like, please make sure to hit that thumbs up. It helps more than you know, because now YouTube knows that this is a video that it should suggest to other people. Thanks, guys.
I am putting edge banding on the support strips for the bottom half, just because if you peek at it from underneath and above, you'll see that it's actually plywood, so I want to hide the exposed edge of the plywood. Here's a little trick for edge banding. You'll notice that when I'm tapping right here, it sounds solid. Yet if I'm over here, you can tell it doesn't feel that solid, and that's because the glue hasn't adhered.
For the support strips on the bottom, all I did was glue and brad nail them in place. But for the top of the drawer box, I did countersink and add screws. I did miss filming, clamping everything together, but I sure got this awkward shot of my wife and I flipping the island upside down.
It's another day, you can tell because I'm now wearing an apron where I wasn't before. I found this piece of plywood on my shelf, and it is the perfect size to make the 4 drawers that I need.
It probably seems excessive that I'm using all this nice walnut plywood for making the drawer boxes and the drawer frame, but come on, this is for my mom. And I've been saving this material for a while, and this seemed like just the perfect project to use it on. With the grooves cut for my shelf bottoms, I added pocket holes to the outside faces of the front and back of the drawers. I always do drawers this way because then the pocket holes actually get hidden at the back of the drawer where you'll never see them and behind the drawer faces. Now my go-to drawer slides are center lines from Rockler, but I had to make do with these goofy generic ones that had this plug at the back that actually locked them in place and held the drawers way too tight. Luckily, the little plugs came out pretty easily with a screwdriver. To get my drawer boxes the right clearance, I just used a scrap of 3/4 inch plywood to mount my drawer slides. Now this is my 40th video on YouTube, so that's a pretty exciting milestone for me, and I want to give a huge shout out to Rockler for supporting my channel almost from the beginning. I've linked my favorite Rockler tools down below, so you can check those out. Rockler is a huge supporter of this community, so I really want to say thanks for supporting me, as well as other content creators out there. Now what you just saw me do is cut some strips of maple so I could make some hardwood edge banding for the drawer fronts. I pin nailed and glued these strips in place, and then came back with my hand plane just to level everything out. After tearing the frame back apart, I built a little jig just so I could make registration holes of where I'd be adding the shelves to the legs. I was planning on using threaded inserts, so these had to be fairly precise. With all the holes drilled in the shelves, I was able to reassemble everything and just use a brad point bit to mark out where I'd be drilling to put the threaded inserts. Now for the drawer box frame, I added holes to the top just to allow for expansion in the island top. I also decided this was a good opportunity to test out the strength of my workbench. I mixed up a small amount of Total Boat High Performance just so I'd have something a little bit more to help out with the threaded inserts. And I also drilled out a hole in each of the legs so I could add threaded inserts and leveling feet recessed into the legs. I could now start prepping for all the painting I'd be doing to the frame of the island. And luckily, MIRKA sent me just enough sandpaper to get this all done. For the frame of the island, I did use an enamel paint, which I just sprayed with my HVLP sprayer. Sanding in between coats, I did do a final coat with everything assembled. With that, I could trim the tabletop to final length and work through all the grits to get the tabletop up to 220, ready to spray for finish. And listen, if you're not grain popping with water after 120, you're missing out. Now my go-to water-based finish has become Halcyon from Total Boat. If you haven't tried this finish out already, I strongly recommend it. It sprays and wipes on amazingly well. I applied several coats, sanding in between. And once the finish had cured, I attached all the strips in place to my shelves using a 3/4 inch plywood spacer. At this point, a majority of the construction was done, so we could load everything into the back of a Volkswagen off to my mom's house. A few weeks later, my son and I showed up at my mom's place so we could start putting the island together, as well as doing a couple other things around our house. The island made it in great shape. There was a couple spots that got jostled around that we had to touch up, but with everything put together, I was able to use this glue gun from 1982 and start attaching my drawer faces. Now I'm sure you've probably seen this before, but the best way to get equal spacing on drawer fronts is simply to use playing cards. And with that done, so was the island. Now, I was thrilled with how this turned out, but my mom was even happier, which I think is the most rewarding part of projects like this. I love the challenge of having to make this kitchen island flat pack, and I'm glad I got to use some materials that had some meaning to our family. I love to hear where these videos help others, so make sure you comment below if you learned something from this build. But hey, if you just like watching, hit that thumbs up. Thanks again to Rockler for supporting my channel. I've queued up a couple other projects that you might find interesting. Oh, and if you made it this far, comment Volkswagen or VW below. Until next time guys, take care.